Hi, I'm Frank, the silly drummer. I'm really excited to submit my entry in the Monty Python YouTube contest. I'm just so excited to see all the other entries and such. I think this is a great idea. My favorite Monty Python sketch is called The World's Funniest Joke. I like to call it The World's Deadliest Joke because of what happens in it, but that's what it is on the DVD, so I guess that's the way it is. I decided to read the script myself. Hopefully I'll be a little animated and you'll enjoy it. Sorry in advance for the jump cuts because I'm not much of an actor. I don't have a lot of,
Range?
I updated the sketch, I Americanized it, put it in the 2000s basically, and we'll see what we get. Here goes the world's funniest joke. Cut to a suburban house in a rather drab street. Zoom into an upstairs window. Serious documentary music plays. Interior of a small room. There are posters on the wall that say Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, and one that says Kurt Cobain lives. An issue of News Time magazine is on the desk with a cover that says, "Are you ready for Y2K?" A bent figure, dressed in flannel, huddles over a table. He is surrounded by bits of paper. The camera slowly zooms in facing the man as he types with immense concentration, lining his unshaven face into an ugly brown Apple PowerBook 500 with the rainbow Apple logo on the cover. This man is Ernie Scribbler, writer of jokes. In a few moments he will have written the funniest joke in the world, and as a consequence he will die laughing. Ernie stops typing, hits a key that starts a dot matrix printer, and nonchalantly rips the printout off. He pauses to look at what he has written. A smile slowly spreads across his face, turning very, very slowly to uncontrolled, hysterical laughter. He staggers to his feet and reels across the room helpless with mounting mirth, and eventually collapses and dies on the floor. It was obvious that this joke was lethal. No one could read it and live. Scribbler's mother enters. She sees him dead, gives a little cry of horror, and bends over his body weeping. Brokenly she notices the piece of paper in his hand, and thinking it is a suicide note, for he has not been doing well for the last 13 years, picks it up and reads it between her sobs. Immediately she breaks out into hysterical laughter, leaps 3 feet in the air, and falls down dead without more ado. Cut to a newscast of a reporter standing in front of the house. Reporter, reverentially.
This morning, shortly after 11 o'clock, comedy struck this little house in Reseda. Sudden, violent comedy. Police have sealed off the area. And...
Notices commotion.
Oh, it looks like the LAPD detectives are making an announcement.
The detective, emotionless and professional.
The plan as of right now is to enter the house and attempt to remove the joke.
At this point, an upstairs window in the house is flung open, and a doctor with a stethoscope rears his head out, hysterical with laughter, and dies hanging over the windowsill. The reporter and detective look up briefly and sadly, and then continue as if they are used to such sights this morning.
I shall be aided by the sound of somber music and also by the Gregorian chanting of the members of our SWAT team. The atmosphere thus created should protect me in the eventuality of me reading the joke.
He gives a signal. The group of policemen start groaning and chanting biblical laments. The inspector squares his shoulders and bravely starts walking into the house. Reporter.
There goes a brave man. Whether he comes out alive or not, this will be surely remembered as one of the most courageous and gallant acts in police history.
The inspector suddenly appears at the door, helpless with laughter, holding the joke aloft. He suddenly collapses and dies. Cut to a film of army vans driving along dark roads. Voiceover. It was not long before the army became interested in the military potential of the killer joke. Under top security, the joke was hurried to a meeting of the commanders at the Department of Defense. Cut to a door at the Pentagon. A soldier on guard comes to attention as a courier hurries in carrying an armored box. There is a notice on the door. Classified personnel only. No admittance. The courier rushes in. A door opens for him and closes behind him. We hear a mighty roar of laughter and then a series of thuds as the commanders hit the floor one at a time. The soldier outside does not move a muscle. Top brass were impressed. Tests in the Nevada desert confirmed the joke's devastating effectiveness at a range of up to 50 yards. Cut to a colonel talking to the camera.
All through the winter of 2001, we had translators working in joke-proof conditions to try and produce a Farsi version of the joke. They worked on one word each for greater safety.
One of them saw 2 words of the joke and spent several weeks in a hospital. But apart from that, things went pretty quickly, and we soon had the joke by January in a form which our troops couldn't understand, but which the Taliban could.
Cut to a cliff overlooking a cave. Members of the joke brigade are crouched holding pieces of paper with the joke on them. And so, on July 8th, 2002, the joke was first told to the enemy in the Pashtun region on the Pakistani-Afghani border. Commanding NCO.
Tell the joke!
The joke brigade. Get uns dort mal. Ja, quick handheld zoom in as through binoculars. There is a pause and then a group of Taliban rear up in hysterics, pouring out of the cave one by one, holding their guts and kneeling over into the ground. It was a fantastic success, and one in which Osama bin Laden just couldn't match.
ولكن الإنسان
هذا إلا لما اعتقلت.
يبقى الإنسان إنسانا.
In action, it was deadly. Cut to a small squad with rifles making their way through a rocky chasm. Suddenly, one of them sees something and gives a signal, at which they all dive for cover. From the cover of a boulder, he reads out the joke. Get uns dort mal. Ja, a sniper falls out behind another boulder, laughing. Joke brigade. All charging. They chant the joke. Taliban are put to flight, laughing. Some dropping to the ground. Taliban casualties were appalling. Cut to a Taliban hospital and a ward full of casualties still laughing hysterically. Then cut to a Taliban torture room. An officer from the joke brigade has a light shining in his face. A Taliban militant is interrogating him. Another, clearly labeled a Taliban soldier, stands behind him. What is the big joke?
I can only give you name, rank, and why the chicken crossed the road.
That's not funny! Slaps him. I want to know the joke!
Alright. How do you cure a Taliban headache?
The Taliban, momentarily fooled. I don't know. How do you cure a Taliban headache?
Put his head through a window and the pain will just go away.
He does so. He kicks the Taliban, who loses balance and falls into a window. Taliban gets up. That's not funny! He mimes slapping him while the other Taliban claps his hands to provide the sound effect. Now, if you don't tell me the joke, I shall hit you properly.
I can stand physical pain.
You're no fun. All right, Abu. Abu starts tickling the officer, who starts laughing.
Oh, no, anything but that. No, alright, I'll tell you, please.
Quick, Abu, the laptop. Abu goes to an Apple iBook, the clamshell type in Bondi blue. And they wait expectantly. The officer produces a piece of paper out of his breast pocket and reads.
Get uns dort mal. Ja,
Abu at the laptop explodes with laughter and dies. That is not funny! He bursts into laughter and dies. A guard bursts in with a machine gun. The American leaps on the table. The officer, with lightning speed. The guard reels back and collapses laughing. The American officer makes his escape. Cut to stock film of Afghani scientists working in laboratories. But by the autumn of 2003, the Taliban were working on a joke of their own. Cut to an interior. A Taliban general seated at an imposing desk. Behind him stands Abu, labeled a different Taliban officer. A bespectacled Taliban scientist joke writer enters the room. He clears his throat and reads from a card. He finishes and looks hopeful. Abu, we let you know. He shoots him. More stock footage of Taliban scientists. But by December their joke was ready, and Osama bin Laden gave the order for the Taliban joke to be broadcast in English. Cut to a TV set with a couple anxiously watching it. A hazy Taliban broadcast. There were 3 peanuts walking down the street, and one was assaulted. Peanut. The couple look at each other and then in blank amazement at the TV. Cut to modern History Channel narrator. The commentator is in a woodland glade. And this is where my sketch falls apart, because it ends with a hilarious line, in 1945, peace broke out.
It was the end of the joke. Joke warfare was banned at a special session of the Geneva Convention, and in 1950 the remaining copy of the joke was laid here to rest in the Berkshire countryside, never to be told again.
Hilarious ending, but as we know, Operation Desert Storm and everything that happened after that was a complete clusterfuck. So I couldn't write a funny ending. In this case, this is what we have. I hope you enjoyed my little video. Thank you, Monty Python, for all the years